Our rules are simple, but the challenge is great. All dinos will be explored in this challenge, but only reasonable underdogs voted on by the community will be considered for grading. Equipped with official server cap saddles, our 19 contenders will be backed by the commanding presence of a loyal Uranus providing that extra boost. All competitors will go into battle with food to provide a healing effect. Herbivores will have plenty of sweet veggie cakes, and carnivores and omnivores will have cooked meat. It's important to note that tames in this series aren't typically used during boss battles because of the amount of mutations you need to make them competitive. But all dinos competing will have around 23,000 health and 1200% melee. This will give them all a fair shot at defeating at least one of the guardians. It won't always be feasible to reach these stats depending on the dinos I'm using, but I'll let you know the amount of mutations and levels it took in order to reach it. All competitors start out with 50 base health and melee and 40 points in everything else before I apply mutations and experience levels. You can decide on your own servers if the juice is worth the squeeze. Competitors are required to fight the Megapithecus, Broodmother, then Dragon on all difficulties starting with Gamma, then Beta, finishing with Alpha. Their success will be annotated on this scorecard with a pass or fail system. Clearing all the bosses earns them a gold boom medal. Silver is awarded for clearing Beta, bronze is for clearing Gamma, and the chunk of shit is for an unworthy performance. Once all expansion creatures are finished, the gold medal winners will test their strength against the Overseer for the finale. Now let's introduce our competitor and see if they have what it takes. Ceratosaurus. This beastly Crunkosaurus Rex is a new official addition to Ark, coming from the Ark Editions mod. These spiky devils are a relatively common spawn and they're found all over the place. They come equipped with a sprint ability that ends in a super sexy power slide and also gives boosted damage to their alternate horn attack. Their alternate attack also triggers a blood explosion debuff on the enemy that allows your dinos to be healed for a small amount while attacking the debuffed creature. And yes, it works on bosses. The stats required for this competition were reached with 12 mutations and 80 experience levels. 4 mutations at 25 levels went into health, and 8 mutations at 55 levels went into melee. We have a new patron on the team, and to show my thanks, they get a competitor named after them. Welcome to the show, Ice Cold Warrior. Now let's see if you have what it takes. The green portal is up and the horny hell spawn are ready to charge into the Gamma Megapithecus arena and drink some monkey blood. First impression, their attack isn't the strongest, but I'm pretty satisfied with their delay, and most importantly, they actually attack when in range. We've seen time and time again when creatures just sit there doing nothing, but the Underdog seem to have a lot of success with their basic functionality, which is actually kind of refreshing for Ark. The Gamma Megapithecus is a cakewalk as usual, and I'm excited to see how far the Ceratosaurus can actually get. That's an easy pass for the board. The Gamma Broodmother is up next, and my first thought, try and block the bitch. If you didn't know, the bosses are going to aggro herbivores first from highest to lowest drag weight, then carnivores and omnivores from highest to lowest drag weight. That means a dodo is going to get aggro before a rex, by the way. So when you're using a small carnivore while you're riding the Uranus, it opens up a different strategy to utilize, assuming they're big enough to block the boss. Fortunately, the Ceratosaurus is a girthy boy, and he can block the bosses no problem, at least for now while the Gamma bosses move slow. If it works, you can get through some of these boss fights without taking any damage, which is a pretty huge deal. It works against Gamma Broods, and that's another pass. The Gamma Dragon is up next, and if there's one boss that's hard to block, it's the Dragon. It's not just because of the way he moves or how big he is, but if he's pinned down and can't reach what he's aggroing, he's going to take off and fly to a different spot in the arena. This strategy doesn't really work on him, but it can get you a series of free hits before you start being roasted by the fire breath. The Underdrunks aren't the smallest creatures, so the toe-biting strategy won't necessarily be the safest option without losing any dinos. Or so I thought. We'll touch on it a little bit more later, but for now, the Underdrunks are able to take down the Gamma Dragon with ease and earn a pass, clearing the Gamma stage. Blue portal time means beta time, and the Beta Megapithecus is up next. The Cranky Saras are able to effectively block the Megapithecus with no issue, and honestly, it's not a surprise at this point. What's a surprise to me is how well a common spawn like this is performing so far. I know it's been a while since I made one of these videos, but I've been thinking about this one for a while. I see these things everywhere. It didn't take many mutations to get them, the stats that we use in this competition, and if it wasn't for the pain it takes to tame them, these guys might be my go-to from now on. The heal is a nice touch, and fortunately it isn't too overpowered, at least I don't think it is. The Underdrunks are able to get it done on the Beta Megapithecus and put his ass into the dirt, earning another pass. The Beta Broodmother is up next, and this fight is a great test to see how good your team really is. The Beta Broodmother is extremely tough when compared to the Beta Megapithecus, so if you don't come into this fight with good saddles and a strong team, you're going to get squashed. My plan going into this fight is as it usually is. I want to test out what I want to actually do with the Alpha Broodmother. I wanted to block her, and if they can't hold the Beta Broodmother down, then they sure as hell aren't going to hold Mama Broods down. At first, the beta broodmother keeps her aggro on the underdrunks because of how far away she is. But as I move in close, she's going to switch her attention to me just as I wanted. She's stuck. She did eventually break through, but that could just be a fluke of how the underdrunks were positioned in front of her. It made no difference though, and the underdrunks get it done, earning another pass. The beta dragon is up next, and the blood drunk brute squad charges in to block the dragon, but he kinda squeezes by and burns Commander Utes a little bit. The beta dragon fight was important for me. Normally I worry about the alpha broodmother, but the Ceratosaurus is thick enough to stop her in her tracks, at least for a little while, so I started thinking of the best way to beat the alpha dragon once I was done with the beta dragon, and before I could even think of some kind of fancy maneuver or something, it was plain as day. Just do what I'm doing here. The underdrunks hit the dragon no problem at all from any angle. They don't run off randomly like we've seen from other creatures. They don't sit there frozen and do nothing. As long as I could keep Commander Utes alive and get off a few good volleys between takeoffs, the underdrunks could beat the alpha version of this asshole. The beta dragon proved to be no match, and the underdrunks earn another pass, clearing the beta stage. The red portal was up, and the underdrunks poured another blood beer into their cup. They stumbled into the realm of apes and snow. Listen folks, you know how this is going to go. Alpha monkeys can be quick, but take a giant lizard and give him a sip of some delicious bloody bourbon, and before you know it, you're gonna lower the curtain. The slaughtering Sarahs are just too thirsty to be slowed down. Who knew that monkey blood would be a good mixer with Crown? I like to think they prefer tequila because I act the same way when I want to feel a little bit tipsy, so I slam a margarita. These boys bring a new meaning to a Bloody Mary. Have you ever had one? They taste like the balls of Drew Carey. Seriously, tomato juice tastes like ass. But anyway, the underdrunks get another pass. Yo, man meat, come clap cheeks. That's all she said. After all we've been through, after our ups and downs, I get that for a text. It just cements what I already knew. I'm just an object to her, just a man-seed syringe with no price tag. I'm not even good enough to be considered a whore. I mean, think about it. What has she done for me? Besides the amazing booty, what has she really done for me? Not a damn thing. Commander Utes would probably quit if he could think for himself at this point, watching me torment myself with these silly decisions on whether I should give her what she wants again or not. Well, you know what? Dear diary, not today, bitch. Not today. It was a good feeling staring at her as she got her ass whipped relentlessly. We locked eyes a few times and I could see sadness, but you know what? Maybe next time she'll stop treating me like her little toy she can turn on when she's in the mood. This victory is for those of you who no longer want to be treated like you're powered by a pair of double A's. That's another pass. The Alpha Dragon is up next, and this one is for all the marbles, and holy shit did it start off horrible. But not really. It felt like it was going to be much worse than what it was. The underdrunks were actually able to get behind the dragon's cone of attack, and I was able to get myself wedged up under his stinky pits before being killed. What would come next was just pure amazing. The crew was able to get the dragon down to less than half health before he took off for the first time. That's a huge deal. I know that as long as I didn't completely botch the setup for the next approach, I was golden. The dragon came down the second time and the underdrunks engaged. They were relentless, and the Alpha Dragon didn't stand a chance. The underdrunks earn another pass, clearing the Alpha stage. Heading over to the scoreboard, the underdrunks are awarded a gold boom medal for a full clear. I was really impressed how they performed, and honestly, with their abundance on the map, they could be a really good option if you're struggling to find Rexes or Therazinos. For those of you that have been around a while, thank you. Thank you so much for your continued support. I know my uploads have decreased drastically, but it's only temporary. I'm currently in the process of getting ready to retire from the military, relocate my family for hopefully the last time, and of course, find a new job. On top of that, my daughter's getting surgery tomorrow, so needless to say, I've been extremely busy. The next few months are going to be a little bit more of the same, and I promise I'll work on some content whenever I get the chance. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to help this community grow. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.